Sex trafficking is a crime that seems to know no boundaries. You've been reporting on a horrifying case of a man and a woman accused of forcing a 7-year-old girl into prostitution.
The Attorney General's office investigated and charged them as it continues to wage war against these terrible crimes.
Our Colton Schoen joined a team working the streets to get a look at how they are fighting this problem on the front lines.
New Mexico is a prime spot for sex trafficking because of our close proximity to the Mexico border. Also, the major interstates here make it easy for people to pass through our city, pay for sex, and leave without ever getting caught. To be clear, there is an increasing number of trafficking victims being forced into the sex trade. The victims and advocates call this modern-day slavery.
What I always thought was that, this is not going to last forever. I always felt like there was always going to be a way out.
This survivor of sex trafficking does not want to be identified, but she agreed to give us an insider's look at a world many people turn away from. It's called the life.
I was 18.
She says she was taken in by her pimp when she was a senior in high school and was under his reign for almost a year.
The pimp, he had to explain to me, that these tricks, he would call them these tricks, they're gonna call you, or they're gonna call you a bitch. And he's like, you think that's why I don't prepare you girls for this?
Countless nights were spent in Albuquerque motel rooms with John after John. She says she was ordered to make over $1,000 a night or face brutal consequences.
He broke a girl's leg because she wasn't getting up because she didn't want to go on a date.
She says her trafficker was Adonis Baker. He's accused of being one of Albuquerque's most prolific pimps, allegedly forcing women into sex for money for more than 5 years. Advocates say the number of sex trafficking cases in New Mexico has nearly doubled in the last 5 years, from 13 cases in 2012 to 24 in 2017. If these numbers seem low, it's because experts say these cases are rarely reported.
He's the one that coordinates all of our outreaches, street outreaches, where we're going to go, what we're going to do.
It's painful stories from survivors that push Shalane Rosales and Jana Pfeiffer to act. At least once a week, they drive the streets of Albuquerque looking for sex trafficking victims to help them get out of the life.
What does a sex trafficking victim look like?
Here in Albuquerque, it's not like, your typical prostitute that's walking the streets with heels or in little, outfits. It's a person who's just dressed casually walking Central.
They go to hotspots for illegal activity and look for women to talk to. They focus mainly along Central Avenue.
How are you? Good. We're with First Nations Community House Source, the East program, and we're just out here doing street outreach. And so we're with a new program there, and we provide services to women who are forced into having sex on the streets.
EAST stands for Education and Advocacy Against Sex Trafficking.
Do you know of anybody that may be experiencing that?
No.
I would have to say a trafficker, they're really smart. Sometimes they're actually posting some of these women online.
In April, the federal government seized many websites that house this kind of activity. Backpage.com was one of them. The federal intervention won't do much, according to New Mexico Attorney General Hector Balderas.
And I don't think that practice is going to go away. I think they're going to just go to another type of service provider.
Since starting a human trafficking task force, Balderas says they've prosecuted 4 sex trafficking cases.
And it might look like it is a normal prostitution or abuse case, and then you realize that these cases involve multiple victims, multiple state lines, and that the profit motives are much more exploitive than any type of standard criminal activity in the state.
All have ended with convictions. They're one of the most time-consuming and difficult kinds of cases to investigate.
I would still like to get every DA's office in the state prosecuting on a maximum capacity, and unfortunately, we're one of the few law offices that really has the expertise to move forward, but it's in the hundreds.
That's why he says programs like EAST are so important in our community. The program got a $650,000 federal grant to operate for 3 years. This month marks year 1.
Successfully, we've helped 3.
One of them was our survivor. She says her trafficker was busted in October of last year. Now she's trying to stay clean and off the streets.
I don't want to live my life like that, I want to work for my money, not doing that stuff, you know, like I want to have like a career.
They are strong. They just need a support system, a network of women just similar to themselves that can actually help them get out of the life and know that there is alternatives.
The Attorney General says he is working with a number of motels and hotels here in our city to help train their employees spot the signs of sex trafficking. To find out what those signs are and how to report it, we put a link on our website at KOB.com. In Albuquerque, I'm Colton Schoen, KOB Eyewitness News 4.